Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the special town hall meeting for the Board of Public Works for this evening, Wednesday, May 17th, 2017.
Good evening, everyone. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. We will establish quorum at this time. We have President James present, Vice President Repenning present, we have Commissioner Jacinto present, and we also have Commissioner Rivas present. President James, we do have a quorum. May we start with Bureau introductions, please, starting with Bureau of Street Lighting.
Ed Ibrahimian, Director of Bureau of Street Lighting.
Keith Mose, Assistant Director of the Bureau of Street Services.
Good evening, John Reamer, Director of the Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good evening, Jose Garcia, Manager for Bureau of Sanitation.
Good evening, Gary Lee Moore, City Engineer, Bureau of Engineering.
Good evening, Ted Jordan, Public Works General Counsel.
Good evening again. Fernando Campos, just for the record, Commissioner Davis just joined the meeting, and so now we do have all 5 commissioners here present. President James, we do not have any comments, speaker cards under general public comment. We also do not have any commentary under the neighborhood council comments section. No speaker cards were received for any of the items for today's agenda. However, we did receive a speaker card on presentations for today.
Okay, then we'll close general public comment in the neighborhood council category of commentary. Welcome, everyone. We'll be hearing from each of our Bureau representatives tonight, and we have some presentations, and we would like to start, of course, with our host for the evening, the council member from the amazing 12th Council District, the Honorable Mitchell Englander. Yay. Welcome, sir. Thank you.
First of all, thank you. I can't thank you all enough. From the Board of Public Works, our commissioners, these folks, this is really the board, the commission, the employees and the staff of where the rubber seriously meets the road. These are the guys, these are the men and women that work tirelessly, that every time, and we get, let me tell you, the quality of life issues here in the Northwest San Fernando Valley are the cornerstone, the most important things that we do. Whether it's tree trimming, I've got a long laundry list of some of the things they do, in fact, waste collection and recycling, contracts between city and private companies, street lights, design and construction of most, if not all, of our city facilities, and so much more. In fact, a special shout out to Gary Lee Moore and a round of applause for him, because without him, none of the things we do would be possible. But Mr. President, I want to thank you very much, because I'll tell you, the men and women of your department work so closely. They're part of the fabric of this community. The partnerships that we've created, not just with our office, but with the community, with the neighborhood councils, are unparalleled. There is no other partnership. There is no other partnership between city departments and a council office like Public Works and our office. And it's one that I'm so blessed with, because it's the core function of what we do. It's not just protecting the quality of life in our neighborhoods. It's making sure that under the broken window theory, that we clean out graffiti, that we clean roadways, that we make sure the lights are on. All those things that maintain the quality of life in the community, that deter crime. But it goes way beyond that. In fact, just this year, the department put out a beautification grant, and working with our office very closely with Nicole Burnson, and I got to give her a special shout out. They put out a beautification grant for clean streets. And Nicole, along and working with many community members, in fact, some are here in the room, and Northridge Sparkle and many others, came up with an idea of a partnership that was so unique that had never happened before. The idea of clean streets was one concept, but clean streets with clean starts, giving an opportunity to those most vulnerable in society, our homeless population, to give them a chance not only for a job, but for job training, to give them not just a handout, but a hand up, to give them that chance and that opportunity they otherwise wouldn't have. We were the only office in the entire city that created a model that became sustainable for folks to get them not only off the street, but into careers. In fact, I met with one of them this morning who had a second interview this afternoon at Ralph's grocery store. The stuff that we're doing is changing lives, not just cleaning up and beautifying neighborhoods. This is why we're all in it. You think about the definition of public service. you think about what that means. And it's not just about keeping the lights on. It's making a difference in those lives most vulnerable. And the partnership here in the Northwest San Fernando Valley is so unique and so strong and a model for what the city truly needs to do. And it's the commissioners here that make all that possible, their staff and the workers. So let's give them all a huge round of applause. You know, I think about those core services as a police officer, as a reserve out here in the San Fernando Valley, and one of the reasons I ran for office. And I look at all of the accomplishments. I just want to read you off a list to give you an idea of the volume that this department does with the staff that they have, which has been depleted over the years significantly. So they're doing more with less than ever before. Since July 1st of last year, just through May 1st, the department, just in our district alone, trimmed over 427 trees, repaired 22 miles of sidewalks. They've resurfaced 66 miles of streets, completed 214 miles of slurry, repaired 74,000 potholes, and I think I hit each one of them. They collected 55,000 tons of waste, including bulky items, and just through 311 alone, tires, e-waste, and more, not to mention what they've been doing with our office. And if you think that's sizable, think about that day in and day out on a citywide basis. The fact that they measure everything they're doing, they do that so they can say, let's do more next year. Let's create new efficiencies and creativities and partnerships so we can do more next year. And they set that goal and constantly not only hit it, exceed it. And it's because of the men and women of the department. It's because of the workers who the boots on the ground, the ones in the trucks, the ones on those lifts, the ones that are out there in the rains and dangerous conditions that we've got to think about each and every day. Because truly they are putting their life on the line to make sure that we're protected. They are the first responders, and I want to thank you guys for it. With that, I asked my staff to, the list is too long to thank everyone, but we wanted to single out a few that really make a difference. And we look at your staff as an extension of our family in CD12. And we are on the phone with them all day, every day, throughout the day and night, and on weekends. You can imagine the volume of requests that we get from residents and businesses and neighborhood councils. Some of them are even happy when they call. But we are the first point of contact, and we follow up and we follow through, and so does Public Works, each and every time. In fact, they exceed that. So I have tasked my staff that I wanted to give out a special recognition to those who deserve it, because I'll tell you right now, it's not their paychecks. It's truly public service, and they far exceed what we pay them to do. And the first one, Tim Tyson from the Bureau of Street Services, Urban Forestry Division, has tended to the tree life of our district, overseeing tree trimming to prevent overgrown trees from damaging lives or property, and it also coordinates our dead tree removal. And let me tell you, with what's been going on lately, and particularly given the rains and everything we had last season, there's been a tremendous growth in dead trees. I'll let you think about that one for a moment. Anyway, I'm trying to come up with some public works humor. So you got to help me out here.
The number of dead trees.
You know, all right. So Tim, come on up. I've got a certificate for you. They were going to be in order, but apparently they're not. All right, we'll figure this out. They're in reverse alphabetical order, mixed up, shuffled, and we'll figure it out. All right.
The one on the bottom.
All right. Well, I checked the one on the bottom, too. It's in there, let me tell you. Oh, I'm on the wrong page. They're not numbered. I don't know. I go backwards. We'll wing it. Oh, I don't know. All right. That's why we have staff that didn't number any pages. Okay. We'll figure it out. This is the city. What can go wrong? Did you find it? All right. There we go. All right, Tim, let's give it up for Tim.
Yay, Tim.
Why don't I call them all up, and then we'll take a group photo. Here, we'll have you, okay. Front row center, you got to stand there.
You're in the 5 finalists.
Okay, Uriel Jimenez, our Bureau of Engineering Real Estate Division. He helped with the Zelza project between Ridgeway and Newcastle, and as a Chief Real Estate Officer, he has helped secure properties for dedicated public works projects throughout our district. Come on up. I'm going to save this one for last. I got to pick somebody to embarrass a little bit here. All right, Brett McReynolds, Contract Administration for overseeing work done by outside contractors in the city. Brett is always fast to respond to constituent questions regarding projects being performed, and we thank you so much for your dedication and your service and your partnership. Keith, Bureau of Street Services, Keith Mosey. Keith, come on up. He's overseeing resurfacing for the district and works closely with our office on our year-end round resurfacing program and has always been there for us, and we truly appreciate it. Thank you very much. And just so you know, I know Keith doesn't like to tell people throughout the city of Los Angeles. In fact, we never publicize this, but because of Keith and the partnership with our office, we resurface more streets and more miles in CD12 each and every year than any other council office. So, Keith, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. We won't publicize that. The others get jealous. Assad, Bureau of Street Lighting Services on the Porter Ranch Neighborhood Council. Also, he wears dual hats, and we can't thank you enough. So thank you very, very much. Thank you for everything you do. Appreciate it. Thank you. Let's give it up for Assad. Now, just so you know, it may be a coincidence that we always, because of these folks like Assad and others, we get the pilot programs. We get things first in CD12, like in Porter Ranch. He just happens to be on the neighborhood council there, but we also were the first to get street solar lighting as a pilot program, for example. So, coincidence? I think not. Anyway, shh, no conflict of interest.
Coincidence accepted.
Coincidence. Kent Carlson, a Bureau of Sanitation, Stormwater Management. Kent goes above and beyond for the residents of CD12, repeatedly responding to flooding and stormwater clearance requests, and has assisted us with the Reseda Boulevard Great Street project, cleaning sidewalks, and painting for special events. Kent, thanks so much. David Kempton, Bureau of Street Services, has been extremely helpful with issues regarding the slurry sealing of our streets and quick to answer questions and resolve problems. And in fact, we've got, I'll throw another special shout out for David. We've got a unique, I said we're constantly testing things. We haven't announced this yet, but we're going to be testing a new slurry program that, again, we get the best, the latest, the greatest, and we've got a new slurry program that we're going to be testing pretty soon in CD12 in about a month, and it's called the 1781 project. 1781? 1781. Named after, does anybody know 1781? City of LA was founded in 1781, and so we want the streets to last just as long. So we've got, I don't know, that's the name they came up with it. Anyway, so thank you so much. Deborah Dietz, Bureau of Sanitation, the landscape engineer who designed the brand new zero-gation median on Reseda Boulevard and on our great street, solving community blight issues with a beautifully environmentally sound solution for all to enjoy. So, Deborah, thank you so much. class. All right, Manuel Gomez, the Bureau of Sanitation Crew Superintendent for Reseda Boulevard Median, has led the team that built the zero-gation median, and his crew also worked along our Clean Streets, Clean Start Homeless Volunteer Program, providing support and, more importantly, providing inspiration to those and becoming a true leader and working with so many people. So thank you so much. All right. We have a few that couldn't make it here, so I wanted to give them a special shout out and special attention to Kenny Lampton with sanitation and Larry with street services as well. So unfortunately, we'll get them their certificates, but they couldn't be here. And last but not least, to single out and embarrass is Neil Drucker. Our board, our architectural department, and when it comes time to making our city safe, fun place for our kids to play, Neil Drucker has truly been on the front line and coordinating all our development projects, particularly our Prop K, worked so closely for so many years. And the reason I wanted to single out you is not that you've worked with our office the longest, although I think the relationship's been there for decades, is that you've got your family here as well. Your wife is here, as well as your parents, and all Valley residents as well. So, Neil, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, CD12 staff picks of partnerships before you. Let's give them all a huge round of applause. I'm going to jump in the middle there. So, in closing, I wanted to thank you all for being here, and thank you for conducting this off-site meeting. Thank you for going through the traffic and nightmare that I get to experience each and every day in this wonderful city of Los Angeles. But more importantly, I also wanted to thank the community that's here, outside of the city family, and particularly those who serve and work on volunteer organizations, nonprofits, and neighborhood councils. It's that partnership with Public Works and all the community-based organizations that really make a difference each and every day. It's the neighborhood cleanups, it's the partnerships and the programs, it's the revitalization, it's the investment of time and the investment into people that's truly making a difference. And if you think about it, so this morning, this is really cool. You give a politician a microphone, see what happens. I know you got an agenda. This morning, that San Fernando Valley rescue mission that I spoke about, this morning we launched our second mobile shower. We were the first in the city of Los Angeles to have a mobile shower. And what we've been able to do is build some faith and hope in people. What's worse than being homeless is being helpless and being hopeless. And to be able to restore some dignity to folks that are living on the street. I met a gentleman this morning who hadn't showered in a year. If you can imagine. He said he felt like an animal. That oftentimes when he'd beg for money, he'd go to a fast food restaurant and they would treat him like an animal because he smelled so badly. Now he gets a regular shower and a shave and clean clothes. Because of that effort and because of building some trust, because he trusted nobody, he started getting used to this mobile shower and showering on a regular basis, that he reached out to the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission and said, I'm ready for rehab. I have an addiction problem and I need help. That was a big step for him. This is a gentleman who used to wear our nation's uniform, living on the street. And now because of that mobile shower, he's got a job, he's been sober, he's been reunited with his family. And you think about the little things we do to touch a life, one life at a time, which is why we're here. I decided that a few months ago, we needed another mobile shower, and I asked one of my staff members, Bree, who's here, to put together and launch a community-based campaign. It was only $17,000. Easy to raise money for. Easy to call a couple big corporations and ask them to write a check and put their name on the trailer. And instead, we decided to crowdsource it. We wanted the community to pay for it. We wanted individuals to reach into their own pocket and text in a pledge, to call in a pledge, to make a small donation. Because the people that are living on the streets here in the San Fernando Valley are from the San Fernando Valley. If you live on the street, they say you often live where you once lived. People don't commute here to live here to be homeless. They were living here at one point. These are our friends and family and people we grew up with. And we thought it would take about 6 months to raise $17,000. In less than half that time, we were able to raise $25,000 from small donors, from local residents, from people texting in a pledge, from the campaign that Bree put together and working with so many others, and now we've got 2. We're able, with those 2 showers, to actually service half, 50%, half the homeless population throughout the entire San Fernando Valley with those 2 showers, those 2 trailers. It's 4 showers total. And you think about 50 showers a day is what we're able to do with 1, 100 showers with 2. What that's doing for all of those people. And so it's because of all of you. I wanted to share that story because what you're doing here and making a difference in so many lives truly does change the world. And so I thank you for all the work and service that you provide. More importantly, I thank all your staff, the men and women in the boots on the ground that work so tirelessly for no recognition, but for a matter of public service each and every day. So thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilman. And on the topic of the staff, I also want to thank your staff as well. We've, as you know, we work with them very well, all of them that are here, and the rest of your excellent CD12 staff. So thank you for all the support. We will start. First, we have an Office of Community Beautification. What? Oh, sure. I'm sorry. We normally have lights on when we're in our hearing room, and we don't have lights on these microphones. So, colleagues, anybody wants to speak up, just kind of raise your hand or nudge me like Commissioner Repenning did. So sorry about that. Commissioner Repenning.
I just wanted to thank you for those very eloquent words, Councilmember Englander, and thank you for having us here tonight. We appreciate your office, your hardworking staff, your values, your commitment to city services. And, we do a lot of these, maybe on a bi-monthly basis. We're out in different council districts. This is the first district we've been to where the council office has chosen to honor and celebrate our hardworking members of the Public Works family. So I think it's great. I think it shows that you guys understand what it's all about, which is that, all these folks here that you called out tonight, they all have a lot of requests coming in, a lot on their plates. And, really taking the time to thank people and to appreciate the work that they do, it benefits them, and it definitely, I think will benefit you in terms of it means something that people, feel appreciated. So I also just wanted to take the time to thank everyone that the council office chose to call out here tonight. I know there's, when people stand out, it's always for a very good reason. And of course, I know some of you and I've worked with some of you, so I generally know what that reason is. And I also want to thank you, Councilmember, for your compassion and commitment on homelessness. I think it's something very unique about you, and we just appreciate it. I think that you have made some efforts in your district that we would love to see happening citywide, because I think they're the way forward. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Repenning. So with that, we have a presentation from the Office of Community Beautification. And before we do that, and then we'll have a couple speakers that have put in cards, and then we'll go to the standard presentation from OCB. Commissioner Rivas is the liaison commissioner for the Office of Community Beautification. She'll provide just a bit of an introduction about OCB and what they do, and then we'll go into the certificate of recognition for the West Valley Alliance.
Thank you, President James. In case you don't know, the city has an Office of Community Beautification led by our director that will make the presentation, Paul Roch, and a team of people that are dedicated to helping you to lead community cleanups, graffiti paint-outs, and lots of other programs that you'll hear, but all with the goal to help you take action to beautify your own community. So I'm a new commissioner. I've been here for 6 months, and the biggest surprise I get is a lot of my friends didn't realize that the city provides these tools and materials for us to do this ourselves in our own communities. And I know Paul also works with a group of nonprofits all across the city that that we contract with to provide some of these services all over the city. And him and his team make sure that they're aware of what the needs are in every community. And I'm very excited to get to work with them. And you'll hear all about the services. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Rivas. Mr. Roch.
Good evening. Paul Roch, Director of the Office of Community Beautification. We are a part of the Board of Public Works. And one of the sort of joys is working with the nonprofit agencies. We have contracts with 12 different community-based organizations that do the graffiti abatement, weed and litter cleanup, and all sorts of other projects. And you guys are real lucky out here in the West San Fernando Valley because you guys have one of the top contractors, and that's West Valley Alliance, who has been a contractor with our office for the past 18 years. So I'd like to invite Daniel Ruiz, Executive Director of West Valley Alliance, forward. And just very quickly, so we do have a very nice certificate for him, which somehow got left in downtown LA. So it's sitting on someone's desk, and we're going to make sure that we get it to you. You don't have to drive to downtown to get the certificate. But we are acknowledging West Valley Alliance. As I mentioned, they've been our contractor for the past 18 years. Over that period of time, just in the West San Fernando Valley, they've removed over 20 million square feet of graffiti from over 750,000 locations. Just in the past year, they removed 1.1 million square feet of graffiti from almost 39,000 locations. And 75% of the graffiti removal requests that are submitted through 311 or through using the mobile app are completed within 48 hours or less. In addition to the graffiti abatement, they also do a lot of weed and litter and trash pickup. You guys definitely have a challenge with the weeds that are springing up out here. And in the past year, West Valley Alliance has filled 61,276 bags of litter, weeds, trash, and debris from along the public right-of-way. And they're able to do that with a combination of funding that comes through the Clean Streets LA program, and also they're very lucky to have the support of the council office out here, who year after year has put in funds to really supplement the work that they're able to do. And so for all that work, Daniel, congratulations.
I just got tired hearing all those numbers. I didn't know we did so much. It has been several years that we've been doing this type of work for the community. And I wanted to thank the board for this recognition and thank Paul and his staff. It's one thing to have communication, but it's another thing to have communication and follow through. It's just so frustrating when you call somebody and you get no return calls, but it's another thing to call out and get a response. So for that, I want to thank Paul and his staff. I also want to thank Councilman Mitch Englander for his work and his staff, and also thank him for the additional funding. I don't know if he knows, but today, actually about 20 minutes ago, I signed the amendment for the additional funding for the weed removal. We do need the rain, but we could have done without the weeds, and they're just about everywhere. And if you have a request, we will get to it. It's just going to take a little while because we have quite a bit of work in front of us. I am fortunate to have a great staff who's been with me for years. They are just nonstop. They like doing their work. They take pride in their work. And when they're done with their work, it does happen on occasion, they're always asking what else could they do. And it's just, it's a privilege to work with dedicated people. So on their behalf and on the behalf of all the council districts that we serve, I thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. I have a couple of speaker cards that we'll take now. Don Larson. Good evening, sir. It's all yours now.
Really. I got to say, I've got Debbie and Daniel back here, and Mr. Gomez over here. I work with these people regularly. I'm out there. I am their partner on Reseda Boulevard on all the work we did. Debbie Dietz has been, couldn't have done it without her. And Manuel, he's the guy I see all the time. But also Kenny, who's over on the Parthenia yard. Mitch is absolutely right. We have a close relationship with all of you, and especially the guys that are out here in the field. I love it. We work together. We talk about the jobs we want to get done. I, like Mitch, I don't know of anybody else who has that partnership between the public the way we do and the city. So I'm very proud of these people. I'm very proud of what Debbie has done out here for us. And Nicole, sorry. But no, we've had a good time. And I just want you to know how much it all means to us that you're even here. But really, we have a good relationship. Keep that going. But boy, oh boy, I love these guys.
Mr. Larson, thank you very much. And Peter Lasky, Northridge West Neighborhood Council. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, everybody. It's kind of terrifying to be up here because I did not plan at all that I was going to say anything. But I do have to give thanks to some of the people who've been mentioned tonight for how they have helped us at Northridge West. I want to thank Urban Forestry for their support and how they helped us, along with Don, in putting in a drip system to save the trees on the Tampa Median. So that absolutely would not have been done without the help of Urban Forestry. I also want to thank Manny here for the work that he did just recently for us on the Tampa Medians in mowing down a lot of those weeds. It really looked awful. So thank you on behalf of Northridge West for that. And I also want to thank Kenny Lampton, who I understand isn't here tonight, because we also have a beautification program at Northridge West, which has been going on for about 5 years now. And every Thursday, we're out there cleaning the streets. And when we have those trucks from sanitation out there, it just makes it so much more effective. We can do so much more. So when we have a partnership and we can all work together, it's amazing how much more we can do and accomplish. So thank you to everybody for that.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Rod, Sean, your OCB presentation. You were just getting comfortable there, weren't you?
Yeah. Let's see. Hopefully this is the right clicker. Let's see. It works. So again, Office of Community Beautification, we are a part of the Board of Public Works. And listed up there, you can see our vision and our mission. And this is what drives us every day when we come to the office. Envisioning a city where every neighborhood is a clean, green, and a beautiful place to live, to work, and to play. And our mission is to inspire, to educate, and to empower people to take actions to improve and beautify their community and their environment. And we do this through a number of different programs. And the whole reason that our office first was started, which was in 1987 by Mayor Tom Bradley, was to coordinate and work with volunteers on projects to clean up the city of Los Angeles and to support those efforts. And last year, volunteers came out at 387 different events that we supported. In some cases had a role of really lead coordination, and in other ones, all we got to do is show up with the tools, and the community owns the project, and they just need that logistical support. We had 23,577 volunteers who came out, usually on a Saturday or a Sunday morning for a few hours, and donated their time to help clean up their local community, their local neighborhood, maybe their local school, around their church, wherever it is that they have an interest and an ownership in. Those volunteers provided 94,700 hours worth of service. And the value of those hours is estimated at $2.7 million. So if you think about it, for the investment that the city makes, a small investment in some brooms, some rakes, some trash bags, the residents of the city are really coming out and providing a lot of service and value back to the city. Our next program, as we mentioned earlier with West Valley Alliance, is the graffiti abatement program. And on a citywide basis last year, our contractors removed 31.5 million square feet of graffiti. And that's a fairly typical year. So if you can imagine what the city would be like without those contractors out there doing graffiti abatement, there was a quote that a volunteer or a community member made a few years ago when we were going through the budget challenges, and they were talking about really scaling back the graffiti abatement program. And that quote is one that's always stuck with me, and that is, graffiti abatement is to the city of Los Angeles what snow plowing is to the city of Chicago. And in a lot of ways, if you kind of think about it, you know, it wouldn't take too long for the city to really get inundated with urban blight and the other problems that allowing the graffiti to remain on the walls leads into. Our contractors are out there on a daily basis. 70% of the work that they do is just driving the major corridors, coming across the graffiti that they find, hopefully removing it before somebody even knows it was there or had a chance to call it in. If you do see graffiti, we encourage you to report it through 311, or if you have the MyLA 311 app on your phone, report it that way. That accounts for about 30% of the graffiti removal that our contractors do. And again, typically, in most cases, that graffiti is removed within 24 to 48 hours. In some cases, where if it's on, you know, higher elevation, on a mural, some other things, sometimes there are cars parked in front, it might take us a little bit longer, but typically they're out there very quickly. There you can kind of see, I don't know how well you can see it, but there's some different pie charts. If you're really interested, we have the handouts over here. You can just see the different parts of the city where graffiti is a problem, square footage-wise, a number of locations. Next program that we have, again, through our partnerships with nonprofit agencies, is part of the Clean Streets LA program. And our contractors are now funded to do weed abatement, litter cleanup, all that type of urban blight, and helping pick up and clean up along the public right-of-way. So last year, our contractors cleaned 3,872 locations of weeds, trash, litter, and other forms of urban blight. They collected a total of 83,700 bags of trash, filled them up, and took them away, as well as 9,042 bulky items along from the public right-of-way. There's a few pictures. They probably don't show up so well on the screen, but I again encourage you to pick up the handouts over here if you're interested. Beginning this year, our office has been part of the sidewalk rebate program, and we're the lead sort of or first stop for groups that are interested in sort of partnering with the city and obtaining a rebate for a portion of sidewalk repairs. We've received over 900 applications so far. Of those applications, 650 have qualified for the program, and offers have been made, and of those, 325 have accepted their offers to date. So this is an opportunity for people to get some money back from the city if they want to repair the sidewalks in front of their property. At this point, it's not 100% rebate of the money they spend, but it's a portion of it. So if you have any more questions, again, we do have people around afterwards that can answer those. I've missed the one on the right is our Adopt a Median program. And that's a program where people can take an opportunity if they want to get a little bit more involved in beautifying the city of Los Angeles. They can adopt a piece of public property for the community benefit. Typical adoptions include landscaping, pedestrian furniture, community gardens. I believe that clock tower on the right is actually located out here in Council District 12 in Granada Hills. And that was something that a local community group took it upon themselves. They raised the funds. They did the work. They got the renderings. Our office works with them to get all the permits and things like that they needed. And ultimately, it was completed. So again, just to close, because I see Fernando has his fancy time sign up there. I don't know how long he's been waving it, but I just noticed it. So, all right, I just want to quickly introduce. We have two Office of Community Beautification staff people here. There are our Valley representatives. So we have Jason Valencia, who works the West San Fernando Valley. And in the back, I have Anna Huizar, who's our representative for the East San Fernando Valley. And we'll be here if there are any questions. So,
thank you, Mr. Raj. On agenda item number 2, overview of street services on improvements, repairs, sweeping, tree trimming, the Bureau of Street Services. Of course, the Bureau of Street Services, and Mr. Mose, we've got a card before I call you up. Bureau of Street Services, of course, maintains our city pavement preservation program, all the city streets, as well as does the work on the sidewalk repair program, manages special event permits and things that people may not know that Street Services does, and, of course, houses the Urban Forestry Division. Before we go to Mr. Mose for his presentation, I have a card from Mr. Herman on number 2, Mr. Herman on number 2. No Mr. Herman on number 2, Mr. Spindler on number 2. According to Mr. Spindler's card, he has a puppet with him.
Good timing, guys.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. First of all, I'd like to see if the Mitchell Englander, the Dibble Dwarf, is still here. Is the little midget there? Because I saw a small person running with a black suit on, a little kid.
No, that was Councilman Englander.
Oh, so you mean he's lost another inch of height? Okay, I'm sorry for the record. Yes, that was him. So now we have the street services. As you can see, this is a very Anglo-Saxon area. There's a lot of white people here that get a lot of good services, like this woman here, the racist, that just said for me to shut up. No, I'm not going to shut up. What you're going to do is start giving services to South Central Los Angeles and stop screwing the people down there because they're black. That's what you're going to do. Because we're tired of looking at a neighborhood like this. I couldn't find a pothole with a microphone and a magnifying glass.
Mr. President, this item is on street services.
It
The
is.
speaker is not speaking on street services.
just
I'm not
yeah, let him
talking.
go ahead, just continue. Let me
No,
know when
no,
his time
you're
is up.
off topic, Mr. Campos. Sergeants, remove him. He's off topic. Okay. Anyway, CD8 needs sweeping services for Councilman Marquis Harris Dawson. So go down to CD8, give them tomorrow on the budget $100,000 and sweep the fucking streets south of the 10 freeway, please. They haven't been swept in 15 years. Because I'm here to tell you, black people do not get street services. That's what I'm telling you. That's why I have to tell.
2 minutes is up, Mr. Spindler.
I'm-
Mr. Mose on agenda item number 2. Thank you, Mr. Mose.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Keith Mose. I'm Assistant Director of the Bureau of Street Services. And today I'm here to talk about 4 core programs that the Bureau offers with urban forestry, enforcement, street sweeping, and pavement preservation. This year, the City of Los Angeles Bureau of Street Services, we're conducting 2,400 lane miles of pavement preservation, 855 miles, which is hot mix asphalt resurfacing, and 1,545 lane miles of slurry cell. In Council District 12 this year, we've completed 66 lane miles of street resurfacing on streets such as San Fernando and Chatsworth, and we've completed over 216 lane miles of slurry cell within Council District 12. We have a neighborhood council initiative where each neighborhood council receives 2 days per year of a dedicated small repair truck for community selected repairs and roadways and sidewalks, and neighborhood councils are basically notified 30 days in advance of that. We've completed in Council District 12 this year 82,000 small asphalt repairs, and our street pothole repair turnaround time is under 2 days when you contact 311. Also this year, we've motor swept 9,000 curb lane miles within Council District 12 of the proposed 11,000 lane or curb miles to be swept this year. Our Special Projects Division does concrete improvements and enhancements within the public right-of-way. We do grant-funded projects. We install over 50 bus pads citywide throughout the City of Los Angeles, and we install over 1,000 access ramps citywide. These are some of the pictures that we've done in Chatsworth, on Chatsworth itself, where we've improved an access ramp, where we've made it ADA compliant by putting on a dome and putting a zero lip on the curb face so that people can easily access the access ramp better to the sidewalk. We've also taken a driveway at this location and basically made it ADA compliant by repairing the driveway, putting a landing area there on the sidewalk that gives more mobility to people, say in wheelchairs, and so that they can cross this area. By doing this improvement, is now ADA compliant. Our Great Streets crew, we've done over, we replaced driveways, repaired driveways, sidewalks, and curb, and we've poured over 84 cubic yards within Council District 12 in this area on great streets, such as Reseda Boulevard, Chatsworth, San Fernando, locations like that. That's a big job. Our Investigation Enforcement Division ensures that the health and safety of the community and environment by enforcing building materials permit, illegal dumping notices, illegal vending notices, making sure news racks are permitted, and issue special event permits throughout the city. Our Urban Forestry Division maintains over 700,000 trees within the urban forest, and we do, this year we're on track to trim over 2,833 trees within Council District 12, and we received on-demand tree trimming, and we've completed 427 locations. And we've done some work on historical culture monument location on White Oak Boulevard, where we've done some tree trimming. And these crews are the same crews that respond to wind event and during storms, and out there at night is removing downed trees. And these are just some of the locations. If you'd like any of these services, you can contact our 311, and basically we will come out and do pothole repairs, trim trees, or whatever else.
Go ahead, sir.
We do have that information, but I didn't bring it with me. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, hi, I'm Sherry Darrell-Hunnion. I live in Porter Ranch. I noticed there was a lot of trees down on Wilbur and various streets coming south during the storm. What do you add to staff or get from other parts of LA to take care of problems like that when there's a catastrophic windstorm and having a lot of trees on the streets?
We respond primarily with Bureau of Street Services Forests with our Urban Forestry Division. And basically, when we have these significant windstorms, say we can't pave streets, and so we reallocate our personnel to basically respond to picking up tree limbs, things like that. And so we basically allocate our resources accordingly based on the event. We will stop all of our operations during emergencies to respond to any event that's necessary.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Mose. Agenda item number 3, the Bureau of Street Lighting and Technology, Bureau of Street Lighting. Commissioner Rivas on the Bureau of Street Lighting.
Thank you. I'm excited to introduce Asad Al-Najjar from our Bureau of Street Lighting. And I found out today he's also a neighborhood council member here in CD 12. I didn't know that. So the street lighting led by our director, Eddie Brahimian, not only maintains street lights, making sure that our streets are safe and bright, but just in recent years have undertaken new technologies. So thinking about more ways to use this infrastructure, this street light, and create a network for the city. So I'm excited to learn more about it with you. So thank you, Asad.
Asad, before you start, we have a speaker card on number 3. Mr. Spindler, you have a card in on number 3.
Beat me in trouble, and you can stay on the top or you can go back in the car.
Okay. So number 3, the street lighting. Street lighting is good. For example, in the areas where there's high crime, street lighting helps in buying your drugs or your weapons, yes. And again, that's commerce, because even though something is criminal under the tax code, it's still taxable income and legitimate, yes. See, now you look at these people here, and what do you see? You see puppets. Puppets, 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 puppets. Now, they're all here. There's called a quorum of 5 members of the board. So in a nice area like this, they all will show up. But when you go to South Central and you go to the places south of the 10 freeway, for example, barely 3 of them show up. Because when it's black outside, the blacks come out. But over here, you can walk your puppies right over here. It's such a nice neighborhood. See how nice it is out there? They have plenty of street lighting. You don't need any more street lighting. What we need is street lighting in CD9 and CD8 in South Central and downtown Los Angeles. So tomorrow when you go down to the budget, yes, tomorrow will be a special council meeting, no public comment, because they don't want him to speak.
All right, they don't want you to speak.
Yeah, so they're going to approve a $9.2 billion budget. Tell them, put the money into South Central and downtown Los Angeles for street lighting, because it looks like a third world area in Syria down there. You should see
2
the
minutes.
tents. Thank you.
Asad, go ahead, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, President James, commissioners, bureaus and departments representatives, and community members. I'm Asad Al-Najjar. I'm the Community Services Division Manager for the Bureau of Street Lighting. And as you know, our director is also present here, Mr. Ed Ibrahimian. And the Bureau of Street Lighting design, build, and maintain all the street lighting system in the city of LA. And in our motto to provide bright lights for safe nights throughout all the 15 council districts. For the last few years, we've been diligently active in the conversion of the old HPS and mercury vapor and other lamps into LED units. These LED units, thus far, we had completed the conversion of 175,000 units out of our 219,000 units, and that resulted in the annual reduction of carbon dioxide of 62,600 metric tons. Also, we managed with this conversion to save 9.4 million annually in energy savings. This time, for the next 5 years, we are actively converting the high voltage system, which is more complicated because it requires the upgrade and replacement of the old deteriorated high voltage system. And that entails a lot of work. So we are working to complete these 25,000 in 5 years, 5,000 each year. This year, we're doing 50-50 split, in which 2,500 is being done and converted by our field operations crew, and the other 2,500 is contracted out. Also, our bureau had came out in partnership with the mobile operators to install the first smart pole. And these smart poles, what it is, it contains all the electronics for the 4G data and for the voice for the mobile operators within the pole itself. This way, aesthetically, it looks great. It's handy. In the time of earthquakes and all that, it will come for as a quick deployment for the first correspondence. Thus far, we had installed 95 units over all the council districts. 15 of them are over here in CD12, and more to follow. The target is to complete 500 units, which will give well-covered mesh all over the city of LA. Also, we've been active with the new generation of electric cars coming out to install electric vehicle charging stations. So what we've done is we have installed 2 per council district. So we installed 30 this far. Then the next year we will be follow with another 3 per council district. For CD12, we have 2 locations, one at Nordhof and Corbin, across the street from Lowe's, and the other one is on Plummer Reseda by the Rite Aid, north of the AAA building. And these 2 stations are part of the charge point, in which anyone with the charge point tap card can go in and easily charge their car while it's parked at the sidewalk. Within CD12, we have managed to convert 95% of the lights to LED. And there is, as you see, the blue is all the converted. The red represents about 1,140 units, which is the part of the high voltage that is being converted. And hopefully those will be done by the upcoming fiscal year. Also, I would like to mention there is the yellow lights, which is about 940 of those. And those are part of the homeowner association, so their maintenance and their upgrades is not part of our operation. However, when they were installed through our permitting at the B permit counter. Service repairs, citywide, we had responded to 14,600 incidents for this fiscal year. 843 of them were in CD12, in which you see the outline of the single lights outs, 498, multiple lights outs in which more than one incident in a stretch, 113, and so forth. Our bureau has been hit for the past few years with the problem with the wire theft because of the copper being very popular everywhere. And I wanted to bring the attention of the community. If you see any wires exposed, do not touch them. Call 911 immediately, because most probably they might be high voltage or low voltage, but any exposed wires, please report it. Also, if you see any activity going, just call 911 and report it. Most of our cars for the street lighting, the cars that are owned by our crew is marked with the street lighting logo. However, there is also street lighting contractors who have their own cars unmarked. So if you see any activities, please report it to 911. If there is any problems with streetlights, we can be reached either through the website, which I have up there, or 311, or through the app, My LA 311 app. And I encourage all of you to use the app because it immediately, you could upload the picture, you could get the location in, and electronically it will transmit to myself and the rest of my team, and we could attend to it right away. And copies of this presentation is on the table if you like copies, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Hassan. Thank you. On agenda item number 4, Clean Streets Los Angeles update from the Bureau of Sanitation. Commissioner Repenning.
I am very fortunate to be the board liaison to the Bureau of Sanitation, which I sometimes refer to as Sanitation Nation, because they are like an army handling trash and recycling, wastewater, things that never stop. It doesn't matter what day of the week it is, whether it's a holiday, whether it's raining, whatever else is going on, these are things that need to be handled, and they do so, and we appreciate them for it. Happy to see some of our stormwater folks here today who are out there greening our neighborhoods and capturing rainwater. Clean Streets has been an initiative that's been underway for about 2 years as a result of an executive directive by our mayor. He wanted us to use data to really identify areas. What are the conditions happening in different areas? What are the areas of greatest need? What are the different kinds of problems? Do areas have more bulky items, more illegal dumping, more litter, more weeds? What are the resources that we can put there? So we've actually indexed the city, and we are using that data to deploy resources. It's a very innovative program, and here today to talk about it is Pepe.
Mr. Garcia. Before Mr. Garcia starts, we have a speaker card on number 4. Mr. Spindler on number 4.
So talk about this Bureau of Sanitation. One of the things they do is they're supposed to get rid of homeless encampments. I got a homeless encampment down on 8th Street and Coronado. It's been there for 3 years. They've got 20 people living on the street selling drugs right across from award-winning Hoover Elementary School. And you guys come out, Bureau of Sanitation comes out, and they're right back the next day with their garbage. Because what they're doing is they just move the garbage, they leave, and then they come back and rebuild the homeless encampments within 24 hours. And it's gotten to the point that the neighborhood's terrorized. Now, I don't know what kind of game you're playing down there, but see, out here, you don't see this, but on what you did, though, in the white neighborhood, on Burbank Boulevard between Havenhurst and the 405, you had all those homeless encampments. They're cleaning out, and they've still got that garbage all down Burbank Boulevard across from the golf course, and they haven't cleaned it up, even though the Bureau of the engineering department for the federal government's redredging the chambers. Now, the reason that those homeless encampments were put there is the councilman made a deal. So Nuri Martinez made a deal. I'll take the homeless and we'll put them across from Encino Balboa, and then we'll let you dump there while they build all the developments and redevelop the areas near South Park. See, that's what they do. They move the homeless around and they dump them now in the valley. They're dumping them. So I want that shit to stop. You got to clean up all of that stuff out of there, because what's going to happen is that the Army Corps of Engineers knows you did this. They're going to take away your lease, and they're going to take all the golf courses and everything.
2 minutes.
And they're going to kick the city's ass.
So, Mr. Garcia on agenda item number 4. Mr. Garcia. Thank you, sir.
Hello, everyone. Commissioner Repenning, you summarized my whole speech here. But LA Sanitation is here to serve, and we've always been here to serve. 2 years ago, we were picking up trash at your house. Today, we're doing every piece of paper on the street. So 2 years ago, like Commissioner Penning said, everybody who lives, works, visits the city should enjoy clean streets, and it is it's a quality of life for everybody that lives in the city. And so sanitation does take a lot of pride. We picked it up from nothing, and we brought it to where it is today. So part of the executive order was to do 4 major objectives, and we've come a long way in a short 2 years. We started off with 2 service teams, and today we have 4, and hopefully we'll have 5. We deployed the indexing, which we graded every street that was out there. Gave it a 1, 2, 3 based on the cleanliness on 4 criteria, and made it available so that the public can see what the segments in their streets are and what the grade level is on that. So the street assessment, it's a unique program that is probably kind of first in the nation, kind of, and we've been getting calls. I know I received a call from San Diego regarding this model, but it's basically giving it a grade, again, 1, 2, 3, and then partnering up with OCB and the districts, the collection yards. And so the theory is that litter and weed abatement, light litter and weed abatement, we partner up with OCB, and they handle that light stuff. We handle the big congested alleys that take a longer time. Bulky items and multifamily are collected by the district, Kenny Lambton, everybody knows. And all the heavyweight stuff is done by Clean Streets LA. And then the indexing also gave us the opportunity to see where we could place these ALBs, these litter containers that weren't out there, and this where foot traffic was. We were able to kind of identify main streams that were lacking a place for the public to dispose of their light litter, like bus stops. Just a few numbers. We get about 3,000 calls a day regarding bulky item collections. Just a kind of a rule of thumb, if your day of trash has already went by and you're jumping over a couch or a mattress or some other item on the street, it was probably not reported. So we encourage everybody to download the app and report it. All the drivers that go out of Kenny's yard have a manifest, and based on that manifest, that's what they meet their appointments. It's no different than the cable guy coming out between 8 and 12. You're expected to be done. But all the stuff that is not reported, as you're going to school, as you're driving to work, as you're going to dinner, if you see something out there and Monday your trash day came by and you're jumping over it on Tuesday, pull out the app, report it. It'll be on the manifest the following Monday. So we also do the homeless encampment cleanups. We do it citywide, and it's a very intricate partnership between LASA, LAPD, watershed guys, and LA Sanitation, and it's a process, and we do the best we can for the health and safety and the quality of life for not only the residents but the homeless population also. Again, we're complete with phase 2 of the ALB deployment, which is about 2,500 ALBs have been placed out in the streets. I know that the second round was more strategic to the areas where litter was identified by the indexing. And again, schedule whatever bulky items you see out there. As you're driving along, pull the app out, give it to your kids, pass these out, schools. They can do it faster than we can. So, but the more that it gets reported, the more that end up on somebody's manifest the next day. So we deploy according to what's there. So anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Yes, ma'am.
What is OCD? Okay, sorry about that. OCB is Office of Beautification. The Office of Beautification. Yeah, so when we index, we go out there and we'll drive a corridor and it has heavy weeds. It gets recorded through the indexing, and then that gets forwarded to Paul, and then Paul forwards it to West Valley Alliance in this area, right? And all the other contractors that are that work for Paul. ALB is the black mushroom kind of litter disposal that you see out in the streets. It's an automated litter bin.
Garbage can.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry, you're so used to. But those are the automated litter bins. So I encourage everyone to please, we really want to promote the app because that's the quickest way to let us know where something is. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Agenda item number 5, Bureau of Engineering Sidewalk Repair Program. Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you, President James. Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here in the great 12th. The Bureau of Engineering is one of our 5 bureaus, and its vision is really to lead the transformation of Los Angeles into the world's most livable city. And that's a great mission and purpose, and I'm honored to be joined by our great city engineer, Gary Lee Moore, who's been our city engineer since 2003 and leads a bureau of over 800 individuals. And, engineers are by the box, and they have to be by the numbers on all our different projects, such as designing buildings in open spaces, handling our clean water infrastructure in relation to our Bureau of Sanitation, development services, so when you pull permits to do things in the public right-of-way around your homes, you deal with our Bureau of Engineering, our mobility and transportation, especially working with Metro. So our Bureau of Engineering hits a lot of the different aspects of our public infrastructure in support of our mayor's vision. But tonight we're joined by our deputy city engineer, Julie Souter, who's going to give you a preview of our emerging Safe Sidewalks LA, which is an important program citywide that will make our cities more accessible and safer. Julie.
Thank you, Commissioner Jacinto, and Ms. Souter will do that after we hear from our speaker on agenda item number 5. Mr. Spindler, you have a card on number 5.
Yes, now we know. We get to the important part. You let the sidewalks fall apart for 40 years. You got sued under Willits versus City of Los Angeles. The city settled for a 30-year settlement for how many billions of dollars? You gave the attorneys, well, you paid off the class action attorneys to take a 30-year settlement. Did you know that in 5 years, 90% of our cracked sidewalks would have been fixed? Did you know they could have done that? But because class action attorneys get paid off with a $40 million in attorney fees in front, they gave them 30 years and $30 million lousy dollars a year to fix our crippled sidewalks. So guess who's paying for it? You're going to pay for it. Yes, you know how? They're going to make you pay to fix the city's cracked sidewalks in front of every commercial building and safety, and these guys here are going to make the commercial property owners pay for the repairs and tree removal. You forgot to mention that, Mr. Jacinto. You become a criminal too. Tell the people here the truth. The truth is, you're going to put it on the backs of the homeowners and the property owners with the criminal mayor. Shame on you. But don't worry here. Me and my friend have an idea to take and upend your asses in federal court. And that's where we are right now. Once my friend gets his gun charge, that phony fucking charge you filed, dismissed, under 42 U.S.C. 1983, we will be filing a complaint
2 minutes.
To force you to the Safe Sidewalks LA overview program. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you and good evening, everyone. I'm here to speak about citywide Safe Sidewalks LA program. Our overall mission, is to improve the mobility in Los Angeles by making sidewalks and ramps accessible to all. As it was mentioned earlier, this is over a $1.3 billion program that's going to be over 30 years. So one of the things I'm here is to inform you on how you can take advantage or what you can do to get your sidewalks repaired. So first of all, Okay, here we go, got it. One of the main things that I wanted to communicate tonight is if you have any question about our program, please visit sidewalks.lacity.org. This is your main page and information that you can get on how to get your sidewalks repaired. So sidewalkslacity.org. There are three major components of our program. Well, let me go back here. So if you do not have access to a web, there's other ways that you can access information on our program. The first is my LA311 app. If you already have it, we do have a listing for sidewalk repair. You can also call 311 if you do not have a mobile app or if you don't have a desktop. You can always call 311 and it will direct you to our program. And lastly, you can also visit in person. Your council district office or even our Bureau of Engineering district offices can also help you if you have any questions about sidewalk repair. So there are three major components of our sidewalk repair. One of our core function is improving accessibility for mobility impaired constituents. And so if you are mobility impaired, you come to this part in our website and you click on that wheelchair and that will take you directly to our 311. Because we are engineers, I had to throw in all this electronic workflow. You don't really have to get worried about this. I just wanted to show that once you enter the system, everything is electronically moved forward throughout the system that your request will be entered. Again, more engineering geek stuff. This is our electronic workflow. We partner with BSS, Bureau of Contract Administration, our urban forestry. They come out to your site and do the assessment. So this is a really wonderful way that our Bureau is moving forward in incorporating technology in what we do. Another program that we have within the Safe Sidewalks LA is our rebate program. If you're not a part of the mobility impaired class, you can voluntarily participate in a rebate program. And here, this is where you get more information through our website. It'll step you through how your rebate program works. Basically, it's a $4,000 rebate for commercial property, $2,000 maximum rebate for residential property, and it's all calculated for you. An inspector from Bureau of Contract Administration will come out to your home, do an assessment, and an offer will be made. So these are the sites in our website. I don't want to take up all your time with a lot of numbers, but it will walk you through how your rebate is calculated. There's a lot more information on our FAQ, which can be found on the website. Again, a lot of pictures, a lot of information on how you can step through that process. This is just a really great site. This is one of our residents that actually went through a rebate program. We went out there with our Commissioner Jacinto just a couple weeks ago to take a look at that. And this is something that you can really take advantage of. And so again, this is just wanted to give you an opportunity of our three parts of our program, which is our access, our rebate program, and if you don't fall into another category, either of those categories, we have what we call a reporter sidewalk, and that is also found on our website. So if you have any questions, I'll be here for the rest of the evening. The information is also on the handouts, which are at the table. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Souter. Agenda item number 6, Bureau of Contract Administration, Commissioner Davis.
Great. It is a favorite time of the meeting for all of us. This is the last item, I think. But it is my honor to tell you about our Bureau of Contract Administration. This is a bureau whose mission is to inspect what we expect. And to that end, we inspect construction sites to make sure that they are in compliance with what they agreed to do when they sign contracts with our city in terms of doing construction work and building various buildings in our community. We have the responsibility to also help manage special projects as assigned by the mayor. in addition to business inclusion program for those who are not large construction projects, but more often are smaller businesses, emerging businesses, women-owned businesses, veteran businesses, and all of the other smaller type of businesses in the city of Los Angeles that seek to do work come under the jurisdiction of contract administration. And today, we are going to present the effort that the city of Los Angeles engages in to help individuals who are interested in getting and building their skills and knowledge around construction in labor agreement opportunities. And we, like many major cities and some medium and small cities, engage in project labor agreements to create work for those who don't have a business but just want to have individual opportunities to work. And so to that end, it is my honor to introduce to you the Inspector General for Contract Administration Bureau. We not only work on work with regard to the city, but we are a regional resource because we provide this same kind of inspection for other businesses throughout the city. So with that, it is my honor to present to you our Inspector General, Mr. John Reamer.
And Mr. Reamer, before you start, we do have a final speaker card from Mr. Spindler this evening.
Oh, that's nice. We have the Inspector General. Well, how about this here, Inspector General? Did you know these guys here, they approved a contract and moved it forward on the wife of a councilman? And did you know that that went on for 6 months? And then in January this year, the councilman voted in favor of the contract in his committee that came from them. Did you know about that? See, jackass don't want to even look at me when I say this, right? Now you know what our mayor did? He rescinded the contract without opinion. And do you know, we're trying to get the documents, why he rescinded it, and the mayor's office is obstructing it and will not produce the documents. That sounds like something the Inspector General should be looking at. Yes. And you know what you're doing? You're doing a goddamn thing about it. Why does the mayor rescind a contract without an explanation and no paper trail, right? Because Mayor Garcetti likes to play games, see? But you see what, you know why I found out about it? Because somebody here in this room gave that information to me. And they said, here, look here, and I did, and I found it. And then in 2017, the Public Works Committee was there with only 3-member quorum, and Mr. Price is in the room. Was there any objection to moving it forward? No. So he voted on his contract. He's also a bigamist, too. Did you know that? He's also a bigamist. Did you know also that he claimed his first wife was living in his second wife's house? Yes, Mr. Inspector General, he ain't going to do a goddamn thing. He ain't even going to look at me because you know what your job is to do? Sit there with your hands folded and make
2 minutes.
attention. That's your job.
Mr. Reamer on agenda item number 6, sir. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening. Say good evening. I'm the last one.
Good evening, Mr. Reamer. How are you, sir?
All right. Thank you again for inviting us into your home, your neighborhood. On behalf of my colleagues, we're grateful for the privilege of serving. We at the Bureau of Contract Administration, our motto is we want to make things better as we make lives better. And Project Labor Agreement, as Commissioner Davis alluded to, is a tool that we use when we contract out work. After our bureaus, be it sanitation or street lighting or street services, their crews don't perform certain projects, the Bureau of Engineering will serve as the design lead, construction manager, and the Bureau of Contract Administration, we have the task of making sure that the work that is done per plans and specifications. Councilmember Englander earlier used a word that I want to build upon, and it was partnership. Many people hear about Project Labor Agreement. It's a tool that we use in our contracts to ensure that work is performed timely, that we keep our cost under control, that we have an idea in making sure that all of the workers are paid properly. But the thing that it also does is it affords us an opportunity to target workers in the city of Los Angeles so that our projects can actually be the project that the city of Los Angeles builds itself using workers. We see it as an opportunity to open the door not for a job, but for a career into construction, providing apprenticeship opportunities for men and women in the city of Los Angeles. And so that's what we've been doing now for the past 10 years under this board. I would like to change the Project Labor Agreement acronym PLA to another one that can help us this evening. The partnership is that with stakeholders. The stakeholders would be the community. It would be city departments. It would be the council office, certainly our board. It would be crafts, ensuring that everyone has an opportunity to participate in this opportunity. The L would be leverage, where we leverage that which we have expertise in, be it design or construction, or in the board's case, contracts, and then the A, accountability, where we make sure that we are successful in providing these opportunities for those individuals that live in the city of Los Angeles. We have goals for our projects where 30% of all of the hours worked are worked by men and women who live in areas in the city of Los Angeles. And we have targeted areas, tiers, if you will, based on income levels, based on unemployment levels. We're attempting to provide those individuals that have barriers, if you will, to unemployment or barriers to employment, chances to work on our projects. And we've been fairly successful. I know the numbers are a little dim, but roughly we are delivering on the local hire in the neighborhood of 39%. For our apprentices, where the state of California already requires, when public monies are used, that apprentices work, and roughly 20% of the hours should be worked by apprentices. We're asking that 50% of those apprentices are coming from the city of Los Angeles, and we're delivering in the neighborhood of 62%. And then the big area that's on everyone's conversation these days, disadvantaged or transitional workers, those homeless individuals, veterans who are trying to reestablish themselves in society, ex-offenders, those who have barriers to employment. We have a 10% requirement, and we're delivering at 21%. One of the things that all of the city councils are dealing with is trying to make sure that we have safe, comfortable areas to live that provide opportunities for young men and women. And what we've done is, I'm going to go by this PLA, this piece right here that shows the number of hours because I want to respect the time. There are gang reduction and youth development zones throughout the city of Los Angeles, 23 of them. We've overlaid our project labor agreements with these zones to ensure that we're targeting those areas that clearly help those that are looking for an opportunity. I'm going to date myself. When I was going to school, junior high it was called at the time, now it's middle school, they had home economics, they had metal shop, they had wood shop. They unfortunately don't have those in school any longer. So what we're saying is, with the projects that we award, let's create apprenticeship opportunities for young men and women to be able to work on these projects, and they will have an alternative. Not everybody's necessarily going to go to college right away, but these projects afford those individuals the chance, if you will, to work on our projects. So of our targeted areas, as you can see, 91% of the 37% have come from the tiers 1 and 2. Roughly 70% of them have come from the gang reduction and youth development zones. So again, this is a partnership where you might think of public works as trimming trees and paving streets and picking up refuge. We're also impacting lives. We're making sure that men and women have a chance to better themselves, and again, not a job, but a career. An apprenticeship typically is 5 years, and so are PLAs. We have them in our department on roughly $2.5 million worth of work, but we also oversee them with the Harbor Department, with the airport, with the Department of Water and Power. This clearly is a citywide partnership led by this board and this department to provide opportunities. It's been very successful, and we thank you for supporting us in this effort.
Thank you, Mr. Raymer. Mr. Campos, have we cleared the desk?
Yes, you have.
All right, everyone, thank you for your participation, for joining us tonight. Nicole Bernson, thank you, council office, and your staff and all of you that came out tonight. We are adjourned. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Drive safely.